Hi everybody, I'm Erin, sending you greetings live from Gfitness. Now today I'm going to take you through a mat Pilates class. Even if you haven't done Pilates before, I would love for you to join me just to get the body moving, because we're all in the same boat at the moment. We're at home, and although we can't do everything we could do 2 weeks ago, you can still do something. And I'd love for you to try Pilates if it's been on your wish list and you haven't had time. Now is your moment to give it a whirl. And please feel free to bring in your family members who are in isolation with you. Get everybody up to join me. All you'll need is a mat, or alternatively, just a towel. If you haven't got a mat, it's absolutely fine. Just clear yourself a little space and then join me standing with your arms relaxed by your side. We are going to begin with some mobility exercises just to get your joints feeling a bit juicy. If you've been rather sedentary and everything's feeling a bit tight, this will sort out those rusty joints. So we're going to stretch our arms out wide to the side, palms facing forward, and I want you to softly round your shoulders and reach your arms forward. And then just open up your chest and lift your chin slightly. And again, so we're reaching forward. Imagine that you're hugging a tree and feel that release across the back. And then as you open your arms, imagine you've got some sun on the chest and you feel the stretch. And then we start to make it flow. So just alternating between that flexion and extension should feel glorious, should start to mobilize your body. And I'm more than happy for you just to stay with this if it feels good, or if you'd like a little challenge, here it comes. I want you to bring your right knee in towards your chest, drum roll, we're balancing on one leg, and then as you open your arms, you'll extend that floating leg behind you. So we'll try it slowly one more time. Using your abdominals, you should feel it here, nice and strong. And then using your back extensors and your balance, of course, now make it flow. We come forward as we inhale, and we reach wide as we exhale. Good, scooping your abdominals, strengthening your back. One more time. If you wobble, please don't worry. As long as you're moving, it's a wonderful thing. And now stay here. Use your arms for balance. If you're super ambitious, you can take those arms up. And then I want you to bring your leg in front of you and extend it behind. So as we move our right leg back and forth, it's a real core challenge. I want you to try and bring the leg a little higher. Oh, she wobbles. Don't worry if that happens. Just reset and continue. I know it's tempting when you're at home, when the kitchen's close, to sort of just pause and dash off and get yourself a little drink or a snack, but this is just a half an hour class. You can do this. On the next one, I want you to hold your leg in front of you. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got your toe down near your ankle or up high towards your knee. Find a spot where you can control it, and then we're going into some clams. So this one is great. Pilates is challenging for both your stabilizing muscles and your mobility muscles. So traditionally you would do this exercise lying down, but when we're standing, I'm feeling this more in the supporting leg. Is that where you're feeling it? As long as you continue, feel as though you are pulling up through the crown of your head. And if you haven't exhaled in a while, please do. We've got 3 more. Start to relax your shoulders and reach those arms wider. Last 2, you can do it. On the last one, pause, extend your leg to the side, bit of an active stretch, and release. Now, I can't leave you there, otherwise you'll be walking in circles for the rest of the day. So we're going to begin all over again, hug a tree. Just to refresh, hit the reset button. You could do this one all day because we're sitting down quite often. It's really nice just to take that spine and give it a good stretch. So if you do find yourself watching TV here or at the computer, just doing a few of these throughout the day, every time you wash your hands, try this one. And then we start to bring in the balance challenge. Make sure you don't do the same leg twice. So we're drawing in the left leg and then extend behind. Good. Softening into your supporting leg. So that's almost like a squat. You can feel that there. The lower you go, obviously the more muscle activation. And then try and reach those arms wide. Lift your chin if it's available. Maybe, maybe not. Good. And then we pause and hold. Just take the arms a little lower so we're not getting grippy in the neck. And we'll do our leg, hip flexion and extension. So this is like an active stretch for these psoas muscles or the hip flexors, which again tend to get tight when we're sitting down. So I've custom crafted this workout for you. Hopefully you're already feeling a little better, livening those cells in your body. And then pause for our clams. We've got 10 of these. And lengthen between the ribs and the hips. 9, inhale. Exhale for 8. Good, breathing in. Without your sneakers on, we do tend to roll, pronate on the ankle. So just try and lift the arch on that supporting leg. And 5, breathing in. Remember, you can go lower if you're starting to fatigue. Last 3, drawing in from the sides of the waist. And we hold the last one. So pause for a moment, balance challenge, and then gently release. From here, we're going into our roll downs, very traditional Pilates exercise. Inhale to the lower lobes of the lungs, and then exhale, nod the chin very softly, and allow that spine to roll forward, relaxing the arms, lengthening the crown of your head towards the floor. And then slowly rolling back up, stacking vertebra by vertebra. So I want you to imagine you're a piece of wax and you are just dripping down the side of a candle, softening the spine, releasing the lower back. The arms are heavy and you look towards your belly button as you inhale. Exhale. I want my ribs to stack back on top of the hips and my head to float on top of my spine like a helium balloon, very light. Last one, roll it down, visualizing a little pocket of space between each and every vertebra. And then quite heavy through the sacrum as you roll back up. Hopefully, feeling as though you're now a centimeter taller. Alrighty, float those arms back up. We want the palms facing one another. And here's a little coordination challenge. You're going to circle one arm forward whilst the other arm circles back. And we'll try it again slowly. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get this one. It's almost like Pilates' version of patting your head and rubbing your tummy, so it does take a lot of concentration. If you do master it, I want you to try and speed the arms up, keep the knees soft, and hopefully you can see what's going on here. I'm getting this nice thoracic rotation through the ribs. So we do around 6 in one direction, and then simply reverse it. So this is like WD-40 for your spine. It's another good one that you can definitely do throughout the day if you've got a little moment. And the bigger those arm circles are, the more delicious that will feel on your body. The last one, I want you to catch it at the top and interlace your fingers together. You can release the pointer fingers. I'm having a Charlie's Angel moment. And then I want you to take it side to side. So here I'm feeling a stretch, hopefully you are too, from my armpit down to the hip. So it's very much a side to side movement. Imagine there's a pane of glass in front of you and you must stay behind that glass. I don't even want the tip of your nose to touch it. It's okay if you get a little bit of side to side movement with the hips here, or if you'd like a deeper challenge, keep the hips really still and just use your obliques. Oh, how far can you go? Now I want to give you an option. If you've got rotator cuff, any sort of shoulder injury or contraindication, you can still do this exercise. Just have your arms by your side. You don't need to have them up above your head if that troubles you in any way. We can adapt everything. Alrighty, let's make it one more to each side. Oh, that feels divine. And then we are going to head on down to the floor. So this is where you will need your towel or your mat. If you haven't got one, don't worry. Maybe just even use an extra jumper or something to get comfortable. So I want you to sit down with your feet hip width apart and grab onto the backs of your thighs so you can use your arms to sit up as tall as possible. Pilates is great for lengthening and strengthening, but it's also very much about your posture and being the best version of you that you can be. So from here, it's a very gentle curl of our tailbone so that you can start to scoop your abdominals. And then use your arms, they're there to help. You're going to curl forward until the shoulders are directly above your hips. And then we lengthen, sitting as tall as you can. For me, this is the hardest part because most of us tend to be a little kyphotic, so this feels normal, right? If you can improve your posture, that's one achievement for today. And then try it again. We curl back, hopefully onto the back of the sacrum. I want to go a little further on this repetition. And then sitting tall, lengthening those ribs away from the hips. And then one more. This time I'm aiming to come all the way down to my bottom rib if you've got the strength, if you've got the control. And then curl forward, rounding until the shoulders align with the hips. And then we lengthen. Now this time I want you to stack your forearms, just like a genie. It doesn't matter which arm you put on top. And we're trying the same exercise, but without my hands grabbing onto my legs, I have to use my abdominals a little more. I don't need to tell you, I'm sure you're feeling that. And then we sit up taller, really hovering on top of our sit bones. And we've got two more. If you can go a little further, let's challenge to get to that bottom rib. Good, and drawing the abdominals in. Now just a little check, where are your shoulders? If they're up around your ears, just give them a little reminder. And then roll back and hold. We're freezing here. I want you to take your arms up to frame your face, like so. And then float the arms down softly and curl forward. Oh, this is getting increasingly more challenging. Roll back, we'll do it again. We pause. We float those arms up, all the while drawing in through that core. Float the arms down, and we lengthen. Last one, don't forget to breathe. You can really use it to help you. So we're going to roll back, and we're going to hold it this time and do 6 in a row. Let's go. We float for 6, and breathe in. Exhale for 5. It's a little too hard. You can just come up higher. 4, or if you want more, back we go. 3, and breathe in. We're doing well. 2, inhale, make this last one your best, and roll all the way forward. Sit up tall, bravo. Now, I'm gonna wiggle forward a little so that I've got plenty of room to lie down now, and we're taking it all the way back. For my favorite Pilates exercise, this one's called the pelvic curl. I begin in a nice neutral position. That means in a natural curve through your back. And then curl the tail under and begin to peel up vertebra by vertebra until you resemble a ski slope. So one long line from the knees through the hips to the shoulders. And then I want you to soften from your sternum and just melt down onto your mat. If you know this one, close your eyes. It's really good to switch on those internal mirrors. It's all about suppleness and mobility for your back. Make sure all 10 toes are in contact with the floor and you're really reaching long through those knees. And then as you roll down, imagine you're drawing the line on the highway with your spine. So it's segment by segment. Fabulous. Now this last one, we're staying up here. Curl the tail under. We roll up to the top, and then I want you to activate those glutes. And I want one leg to float to a tabletop position. So that's 90 degrees at the back of the knees, 90 degrees at the front of the hip, and then softly replace that to the floor. Try the other leg. So really feeling this in the glutes, which are your main stabilizers for your lower back. So hopefully that will really prepare you for these sedentary days we've got ahead. And if you can just do your little Gfitness workout each day, you're going to be better off and keep yourself fit and fabulous for when we can all be back together at the gym. Now on the next one, we are going to hold it. And we are going to extend that leg into the air. Please don't worry if you can't get the leg straight. If you've got a slight crook in your knee, that is a-okay. We are going to lower our straight leg until the knees are in line and then flex the foot to lift, as if you are trying to paint the wall and the ceiling with your foot. If you are a Pilates regular and you'd like a challenge, then reach your arms up. If you want to keep them on the floor, you can, but try and use them as little as possible. As you point, you'll feel the stretch over the front of the ankle. As you flex, you'll feel that stretch into the calf. And then we do tiny little pulses. You've got 6 to finish, and 5, good, and 4, and 3, you can do this, 2, and 1. Bend the knee and place that foot down very, very softly. Let's do the other side before we stretch. So you're going to float that leg to tabletop and then reach your leg straight up into the air. Remember, we want to get the point and the flex. It's really important. So draw the toes back. Feel that release through the Achilles. Point to lower and flex to lift. You can go lower with that leg as long as you're not feeling it in the back. So you can really make this workout customized for you, however you feel today. And let's do 2 more, leveling up those hips. So make sure one hip hasn't sunk lower than the other, and we hold it for little pulses. You've got to stamp on the sole of your foot and you want to press it onto the ceiling. You've got 3 more. Use the breath. Exhale, inhale, 2 and 1. Bending at that knee, and very lightly onto the floor we go as we roll down vertebra by vertebra. Excellent. Take your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers to make a little cradle of support, and then we're going into our chest lift. So we're curling forward, thinking about sliding the ribs towards the hips. Now it's called a chest lift. It may look like a sit-up, and if you've never done Pilates before, I'm so glad you're joining us. The main difference in Pilates is we go very slowly because we want to make sure we're not moving the pelvis. Often I see the pelvis rock back and forth, which means we're not using the abdominals properly. So aim to keep the hips still and just slide the ribs, almost like you're trying to slide them under the pubic bone and then gently release. As you curl forward, take a look at your abdominals. Make sure they're not bulging up or doming like a loaf of bread in the oven. You want to scoop them under if possible. And then on the next one, we're taking it up there and we are holding it. I want you to bring your hands, circle them around, grab onto your legs and pull yourself up a little higher. Now pause, let go, and if you can, stay there and take your hands back to support the neck. Gently release. These ones look easy, but they are tough. We're doing 2 more. Curl forward. It's a rib to hip connection we're after. Grab onto your legs and use your biceps. Pull yourself up a little higher. You can do it. Let go and stay there. This time the arms go wider to the side. We're leaving a little gap under the chin. We're resting the head into the hands. Then we release. And 1 more. Curl it forward. Ribs to hips. Grab onto those legs. Pull yourself up. Try and get your shoulder blades off the floor, off your carpet, off your towel, whatever you've got, and let go, because this time we are staying here. I want you to turn towards your phone or your TV, whatever you are watching us on today, and then come back to the center with your chest high. Take it to the other side, rotate. And to the center, the chest remains high. Now your challenge here is not to let your shoulder blades go onto the mat. You've got a barbecue hot plate there, and I don't want you to sizzle the back of your shirt or your singlet. Stay high through the center. If you'd like a challenge, you are going to float the opposite knee, trying to get the opposite armpit towards the hip. And if you would like to go even further and challenge for an advanced option, take both legs and then daintily dip the toes. We're doing 4 more here, and lift that chest. Now the elbows are wide to the side. They should resemble a coat hanger here. So the twist is definitely coming from the ribs rather than from the arms. And 1 more. And gently release, taking it all the way down. Good job. From here, Arms are just out of the way, take them off to the side, and we're back in a neutral position. So I don't want the back jammed flat here. Get yourself comfortable, and I want you to float your right leg to a tabletop position, and then place the foot exactly back where it was on the floor. Try the other side. We float the leg to tabletop, and we place it back down onto the floor. This time I want you to float that right leg up, hold it, activate those abs, keeping neutral. Can you float the left leg up to join it without the abdominals doming? Place the right foot down, followed by the left. Let's try that a little quicker. We go up, up, lovely, down and down. Up and up. Keep this tempo, just check the legs. A common mistake on this one is to just drop the heels. So make sure that you keep that 90 degrees at the back of the knees. One more and we pause. Now the left leg down and up. You've got this. Relax those shoulders, stay with me. We've got just 3 more. It's down, down, up, up. 2 more, down and down. Nice and flat with the abs. Last one, fabulous. And you can gently release. Take the knees to the back of the room, look towards the front, and then release. Taking it side to side, and wherever your knees go, you look in the opposite direction. So it's like rinsing out your spine. Think of your spine as a wet towel, and you're just rinsing it out, wringing it out. Now here, I'm going to take one arm and do a giant circle around. So as my knees fall to the left hand sweeps across the hip in a giant circle. Try pretending that you have a piece of chalk or crayon in each hand and you're drawing a giant circle on the roof. And I'm open to interpretation. If you've got a little muddled up here and you're not sure if you're doing it right, again, as long as you are moving, it's beneficial, it's wonderful. And we have not long to go, so don't even think about leaving at this point. The best is still to come. We are flipping onto our side. Any side you like. Get comfortable. I want to lie down so that I can find this underwaist. When we talk about our core, it's not just our abs, it's our sides and our back. So I want you to make a little mouse house here, enough room for a little mouse to run under. Extend the top leg, and I want you to flex the foot as you sweep forward and point as you extend from the hip back. Now in a perfect world, you would come forward 90 degrees and take the leg back 90 degrees. But most of us are fairly good with our hamstrings, but very tight in the hip flexors. So really extending on the hip and focusing on improving the range of movement there is good. Now if you want a little challenge, add a little pulse at the front and a little pulse at the back, but you must keep this underwaist lifted the whole time. Good. Pulse forward and pulse back. You can add a reaching arm, reaching back, and then reaching forward. 2 more. And last one. Now hold your leg back and imagine that you're riding a bicycle. So we're still stretching, but it's quite an active stretch the whole way around. I don't mind if you want to reach that leg and deepen that stretch. This one is really just to loosen up all of the muscles around the hip. Try and get your heel towards your glute at the back and then reverse it. Exactly the same thing, sweeping forward and then releasing that psoas muscle. Let's do 3 more. We're almost there. 2. And just to polish off this leg, we're going to hold it and do 6 little circles, about the size of a rock melon. Go 3 and 4 and 5. I'm still looking for this underwaist. Reverse it. 6, 5. Good. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and release. Good. Stay on this side, but just prop yourself up on your elbow and slide your top hip down towards your feet. That should create more underwaist, and then bring your elbow right under the shoulder. So it's not like we're about to settle down for a game of watching the cricket or our favourite show, you really want to be strong on that underneath arm, and then lifting our hips off the floor if possible, and all the way back down. So we're going to lift, trying to lengthen the crown of your head towards the end of the room, and then lower back down. One more time. If you can lift to here, it's good, but if you can go further, like the Harbour Bridge in a true arc shape, even better. Now extend the top leg and come up onto your wrist. This is generally a fairly weak joint for most of us, so it's a little bit of weight bearing, and you're going to have your spare hand reaching up towards the ceiling. And again, if you've got an issue with the wrist, if you're injured, you can still do this off the elbow. Absolutely. Just make it work for you, and hopefully you're feeling it under that waist as we try and create that nice big arc. And then for our spine stretch, we're going to hold it at the top. It's a bit of an active spine stretch. Dive your arm underneath, keep the hips high, and then extend and reach that arm back. 2 more times. We dive under, feel that release through the posterior shoulder. Oh, I'm eating my necklace. 1 more time. And then we hold it at the top and gently float down. Well done. Stack those knees one on top of the other. Have a little mermaid moment as you stretch. And then we're going to transition by swinging those legs around, and we're ready to go on the other side. Top leg straight. We do a little sweep forward and a nice extension back. So trying to keep that top leg in line with the hip if possible. And I don't want to harp on about it, but make sure you've got that little gap under the waist all the time. Hips are stacked one on top of the other. Here comes the pulses for 2 and forward for 2. You've got it. This is to challenge your abs more than anything else. Reach back and forward and relax that top shoulder. We're ready for our bicycle. So we reach back, we bend, extend, and ride that bike. Around we go. Reaching forward, stretching out. Good, 2 more. And then we reverse our bicycle, same in the opposite direction. It's almost like an arabesque position, and then sweep forward. And as you bring the leg in front of you, try and lengthen long through the hips. Good, using the breath, exhale here. So we inhale and exhale, and then 1 more. We polish off with our little circles, leg in line with the body for 6 and 5 and 4, 3, 2, and reverse your circles, 6, 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Great job, bend the knee, and come up onto your elbow. So for our setup, remember the top hip slides towards your heels, and then your elbow needs to be right under your shoulder. Just have your top hand out of the way, and we come into our side lift. Probably the most common thing I see go wrong here is people rolling forward, putting a lot of pressure through the neck. So try and keep this top shoulder directly stacked on top of the bottom shoulder, and the same with your hips. So 1 more here, and then we're trying the exercise off our wrist. So come up to a straight arm and top leg straight, and we float up, trying to touch the ceiling and looking wherever our hand guides us. So lengthen through the fingertips, looking up, and make sure that top knee doesn't go soggy. 1 more time, hold it, and we thread the needle. Dive your arm under and take a deep breath in. Good, exhale, dive a little further if you can. And reaching up, I'm going to try and grab the back corner of my mat on this last one. Can she get there? Not quite. I'll do that next time. And then we float all the way down. Good. Pull that top leg in. Take your mermaid stretch right from your armpit to your hip. And then we're doing a bit of a cartwheel with our arms and coming onto our tummy for our last little part of the workout, which is for our back. So I want your hands to be like a grasshopper. Tuck them in close to your armpits, and I want you to press into the palms of your hands and stretch your neck long like you're an angry turtle trying to look out of that shell, and then gently lower back down. And then I try that again. Keep your wings tucked in, try and get your elbows to the floor, and bend a little more from that thoracic spine, and gently lower down. So it's very tempting just to lift the chin, but that won't achieve much and it will just restrict your breathing. So remember, the cervical spine is quite delicate. So I really want the bend to come from that bra strap line, or for boys where we tend to wear that heart rate monitor. It's more thoracic than it is cervical, definitely. And then try it with your arms by your side. So without our arms here, we really have to use these spine extensors more. So the arms reach long, like Eddie the Eagle zooming through the sky, and then you turn your head as you lie down. Roll the shoulders back, reach the arms, use that stretch and strength of your back, and then alternate with your head turning to the other side. One more. This time I want you to hold it. Use those glutes that we warmed up earlier, float those feet, and you may not be a long way up, just anything where you've got your body off the mat is great, and start to pulse those feet. Just give me 10 of these. Go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Come back to your grasshopper hands. Push your hips all the way back onto your heels for a shell stretch. And then come into a quadruped position. So the wrists are under your shoulders, the knees are under your hips, and I want you to round your back like an angry cat. Sink the hips to your heels. Slide the chest forward and push up. So we stretch like a cat. Sink the hips back. Slide the chest forward and push up. One more time. A little bigger. Feel the stretch. Go deeper. Slide that chest forward and then push up. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up high so we're in an inverted V. And just start to prance those feet. Alternating the leg we bend. Feeling a nice stretch. So this class we've very much done active stretches rather than just static where we would hold. And you can start to walk your feet in towards your hands. Keep the head nice and heavy. The legs can be straight or the legs can be bent. And we slowly roll back up to our start position. Hopefully feeling a little better than we did 30 minutes ago. Feeling a little dewy. I want you to bring the palms together, reach up, and take a wide stretch with those arms. And then just the circle of the shoulders as you roll forward and back. One more together. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope to see you again, checking in each day until we're all back together again. Stay safe and much love from Gfitness. Bye guys.